Hey, I'm Karen, and I'm a mom to two amazingly neurospicy autistic kiddos. If you're an autism parent like me, you know I don't have time to make a podcast intro. I also lack the tech skills, so let's just get into it. This is the NeurOrdinary podcast. As autism parents, we often find ourselves caught in the whirlwind of expectations, right? Expectations we place on ourselves and those that society places on us as parents. But what happens when these expectations turn into unrealistic demands? You know what I mean. Those moments when we think we need to be superheroes who can do it all, where we feel the need to overly control our child's actions and their responses, when we feel like we need to conquer autism's challenges to be the perfect parent. Yeah, that's not how any of this works. Today, we're going to tackle these common misconceptions, unrealistic expectations, and we'll talk about why it's so crucial to redefine those boundaries in autism parenting. Now, I've been an autism parent for a while with two neurospicy kiddos. You'd think I've got it all figured out. But the truth is that is so far from reality. I've had my fair share of struggles, and yes, moments where I thought I had to be Wonder Woman, but without the invisible jet. I know you've been there too. This world often has a preconceived notion that autism parents are superhumans, right? How many times a week do you hear, "I just don't know how you do it"? We're supposed to handle everything flawlessly. People want us to have all the answers about how to interact with our kid and make their life a breeze for them as they deal with our kiddos. Easy peasy, right? Wrong. There's this pressure to control every aspect of our child's life, from therapies to daily routines to their behavior when they're struggling. It can be overwhelming, and you know what it's like. But here's the deal. It's time to break free from these unrealistic expectations. It's time to redefine our boundaries and clarify what is even possible for us. After all, we're only human. So let's start by debunking some of these misconceptions. And believe me, they're not always easy to shake off. So, misconception number one, we need to be perfect. As autism parents, for some of us, it often feels like we're on a never-ending quest for perfection. And yeah, I'm talking about myself. Some of us think we need to get every detail just right to help our children. And that if we only work harder, do this other therapy, invest more time and money in getting them the help they need, everything will be okay, or at least better. And let's be real, what we really want is to be the perfect parent, right? But here's the truth, folks. Perfection is a myth. There's no such thing as a perfect parent. Even non-autism parents don't have it all figured out. It's like chasing a unicorn, and we all know how elusive unicorns are, unless your autistic kiddo likes to pretend to be a unicorn on the regular, in which case your house is probably covered in glitter. Hashtag solidarity. So let's stop chasing those unicorns, unless we're playing with our kiddos, and wave goodbye to perfection, shall we? Misconception number two, we can control everything. Now, this one is a biggie. Sometimes we believe that we can control every aspect of our child's life. And sometimes we have therapists telling us that's exactly what we should do. We manage therapies, daily routines, and every little detail for our kiddos because they often lack the age-appropriate executive function skills to do it themselves. And also, even the most advanced 6-year-old in the world couldn't manage the therapy schedule that my kiddos had at that age. This all comes from a place of wanting the best for our kids. And also, I'll admit, for me at least, somewhat selfishly, of wanting to reduce the number of meltdowns my kids had and that what I would need to help them through afterwards. It's all complicated by our kiddos' additional needs, but it also becomes a slippery slope that sets us up to fail if we aren't careful. Controlling the schedule, managing the kiddos' emotions often turns into a desire for control in even more areas of their lives and our lives as well. But guess what? It's an illusion. The idea that we can control every moment, every therapy session, or how our child responds to each situation simply is not realistic. Autism parenting is more like a dance with unpredictable moves and twists, and sometimes you just have to let the rhythm flow. Misconception number three, we're alone in this. Autism parenting can be isolating. You might think that you're the only one facing these challenges because so many of us don't talk about the truly hard things we go through. We have an intuitive sense, or maybe it's shame speaking, that says no one wants to hear about our reality. And that's far from true. Many of us share the same fears, dreams, and worries. And let's be honest, the idea that we're alone in this journey is just another misconception. If you're listening to or watching this podcast, you're already part of an incredible community, and there is support, love, and understanding waiting for you. Our motto here at the NeurOrdinary podcast and my coaching business, Out of Your Ordinary, is that no one parents alone. If we aren't already connected on social media, I'll leave my links in the show notes for you. And liking and subscribing to the podcast will help you keep in touch with my weekly podcast as well. Okay, so now that we've cleared up these misconceptions, what's next? How do we manage our expectations, especially when they've been entrenched for so long? Well, let's jump into some practical strategies, my friend. Strategy number 1, the power of self-compassion. Remember, it's essential to treat yourself with the same compassion and kindness you'd offer to a friend. Easier said than done, I know, but stay with me. You're doing your best, and it's okay to make mistakes. Setting healthy boundaries for your child and for yourself is essential. Allow for some flexibility and celebrate the small victories along the way. I'll link to some resources in the show notes to help you set realistic autism parenting boundaries and discover how easy it can be to celebrate those small victories. Strategy number 2, the importance of realistic expectations. As autism parents, it's easy to fall into the trap of striving for an ideal that may not even exist. The pursuit of perfection can be exhausting and, more importantly, counterproductive. Instead, it's time we embrace an alternative approach, one that values progress over perfection. Every autistic child's journey is as unique as they are, which is why there is no one-size-fits-all guide for autism parenting. The journey is an exploration of your kid's unique potential, and the destination is uncertain. We understand that there are no shortcuts or quick fixes. It's a continuous process of learning, adapting, and growing alongside your child. So if you're a fellow autism parent seeking a balance between caring for your child and nurturing your own well-being, remember this: perfection isn't the goal. Let's drop the pursuit of perfection and embrace the concept of progress. Progress over perfection is the way to go. Trust me. Every child's journey is unique, and progress in autism parenting often comes in tiny, beautiful steps. Celebrate those steps, no matter how small they may seem. And strategy number 3, seeking support and reaching out. You do not have to bear the world's weight on your shoulders, my dear autism parent, and you shouldn't try. Reaching out for support from friends, family, and professionals is not a sign of weakness. In fact, it's a sign of strength. Sometimes on an epic adventure, you need a co-pilot to share the load and enjoy the ride. Where would Bill be without Ted or Rufus? You are not alone in this. My biggest goal with the NeurOrdinary podcast is to build up a community of like-minded autism parents who are committed to supporting themselves and their families in the most authentic way possible. If that sounds like you, don't forget the links to join us are in the show notes below. We are stronger together, and it is so comforting to know you aren't alone. Together, we got this. So when we let go of the need for control, when we embrace imperfection, we open the door to something truly magical. It's like letting the wind carry you on a wild adventure or chasing unicorns down the hallway with your child with glitter everywhere. Autism parenting is all about embracing the beautiful messiness, those unexpected moments, and celebrating the unique path you're on. You don't have to control every situation because, let's be honest, you can't. Embrace the imperfections and let the authenticity shine through. So here's my advice to all my fellow autism parents out there. Let go of the need for perfection. Embrace authenticity and realistic expectations. Together with your unique family, create a life that's truly yours. It won't be perfect, but it will be a life filled with love, resilience, genuine connection, and probably a lot fewer meltdowns. And that's a wrap for today's episode. Remember that new episodes of the NeurOrdinary podcast drop every Thursday. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you found this episode helpful, please share it with other autism parents who might benefit from these insights. Thanks for listening. Have fun out there releasing your perfectionism and letting that ish go. And while you're at it, keep it spicy.